So today, my friends, we're going to be making something yummy and delicious, and it happens to be a smoothie. One of my favorite flavor combinations is strawberry and banana, and that's what we're going to be making. Previous to the recording of this, I have washed my hands. I have gathered my equipment. I have gathered my ingredients, and of course, I've read over the recipe. Now, students, because we are working with a food that we're not cooking right now with this smoothie, the people who make this smoothie need to take and wear gloves if you are here at school. So my hands are now all the way dry, and I'm going to go ahead and slide on these gloves before I get started fixing anything. So the first thing it says is that we got to work with the blender, and I want to talk about our blenders really quick here at school. Our blenders are very, very powerful. They have some features that I really like, and one of them that's a little bit confusing is that even after I plug in my plug, sometimes my blender won't be turned on. So if I look at the face of my blender right here, if this is lit up, the blender's ready to go. If it's not lit up, you have to turn it on. And the way that you turn it on is here on the back. This is a little switch, like a light switch. I'll turn that on, and the next thing I know, when I look at the front of it, it's all lit up. So that means that it's ready to go. My instructions tell me that I'm going to be working with the blender, and you'll find it here in our kitchens. It's in cupboard number 5 at the very bottom. I want you to be super careful with these because they are expensive. They are a couple $100s each. We're lucky that when the school was being built, this company was willing to donate these to us so we could use some really high-end equipment. There are a couple parts to your blender. This is referred to as the pitcher, and of course it has a lid, but a portion of it is removable. And sometimes you'll want to use this, sometimes you don't need to. This particular recipe talks about using this portion, and what this allows you to do is have your blender on and add things to it while it's blending, and nothing is going to come spurting out at you. So it just kind of depends on what you're making. The instructions for making this are really pretty simple. The first thing that I'm going to do, of course, is to take on step number 1 to measure the sugar, and we're going to just put it right straight in the blender. The instructions tell you that you might want to use a sugar substitute or a sweetener. And I could also take and cut back on the amount of sugar that's put in here. It'd probably be more healthy for me. Well, it for sure would be more healthy if I'd pull that out. The next thing it says is that we're going to add in our vanilla. And the vanilla, the amount that we're putting in is 2 teaspoons. When you measure these extracts, whether it be peppermint or vanilla, don't measure over the top of your pitcher. Because if you've tasted this stuff before, it is strong, and to be honest with you, it tastes pretty nasty. So I'm going to measure over a bowl, and I'm going to get it so full that I'm shaken to move. And I'm carefully going to come over here and pour that in, and then here goes my second one. Oops, do you see that? I spilled it. And pour the second one in. Because these are kind of expensive, get your lids back on right quick. I'm going to wipe up that bottle real fast because I don't like to have residue on my shelves, and then I'm going to put it to the side. Step number 3 says we're going to cut a banana, and we want our bananas to be ripe. When bananas are green, their sugars haven't, their flavor hasn't developed. Maybe you've had a green banana before, kind of nasty and weird on, I think, your teeth. But I'm going to take this banana, which is fully ripe. It's starting to have flecks or polka dots or freckles on it of brown. That's a good sign. I'm going to go ahead and with my paring knife, I'm just going to pull that top off, remove any strings that are going to be attached to it. You can remove this bruise if you have a bruise on your banana. In the end, what is a bruise but a bunch of pressed and wiggled with? We're going to put that on in the blender. It's going to bruise the whole thing. It's just that we don't see it. So up to you whether you wanted to take it off or not. Cutting that into a couple chunks and stick that in there. It says I'm going to add the strawberries. These strawberries are frozen. That's going to help us have a nice thick smoothie. If you use fresh strawberries, that's fine, but you're gonna have to add more ice cubes to get it so that it's thick. And you add more ice cubes, it dilutes the flavor. So I'd suggest if you're going to use fresh strawberries that you freeze them first, and then you can go ahead and add them in. Now this 6 to 7 frozen strawberries is kind of a weird amount. And because you know, when you've got strawberries, let's just pick out some right here. Some of those strawberries are big and some of them are little. So I'm going to be looking for about a cup's worth of fruit. But I'll use this as a guide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, you can see what I'm doing. I'm faking it a little bit. I'm going to make sure I get plenty of strawberries in there. And then lastly, well, not lastly, or almost lastly, I'm going to go ahead and add in some milk. And it says 1 tablespoon of milk. This could be any milk. It could be whole. It could be 2%. It could be 1% or skim. Here at school, I like to buy the 1% milk. Gives me a little bit of fat. Yeah, that's what makes our milks taste different, is fat, but not a ton of it. Recommended that we drink either skim, oops, I'm spilling on my countertop, skim or 1% milk. That's what my plate wants to recommend to us. I'll wipe that down too. Then I'm going to go ahead and add this all right on in my blender. Now my instructions say that I'm going to put this on my blender and add the ice cubes one at a time until the drink is smooth and slushy. So if I were doing this at home with a home blender, I would go ahead and get this on my blender, I'd turn it on, and then I'd remove this spot, and while the beaters are going, you add the ice cubes. That way the ice cubes don't jam up at the bottom and cause the engine of the blender to burn out. But this particular blender is a super, super strong one. So I'm actually going to take and put my ice cubes in now, and then I'm going to use a setting on this particular blender called the smoothie setting. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to put in 12, okay? 11, 12. I'm going to put this on here and then place this on my blender body. And then on this, let's just show you real quick. There is a smoothie setting right here. You might have to look at probably all in the more or less same spots if you have a different bottle, which we do here at school. And then I'm going to push this smoothie button. And what I'm going to hear is a lot of noise. And it's going to start on a really high speed. Wah! And then it's going to go to a lower speed, huh, and then it's going to a middle one, huh, and then it's going to go, hoo, and then it's going to stop all itself. So if you're using this blender here at school, just push the smoothie button and let the smoothie do itself. Does it all itself. Let's see what we've got. Let's pull it over here. Let's open up that lid. Oh my goodness, smoothie, lovely and delicious. When you pour this into your cups, you'll have plastic cups. You might want to get a spoon to help guide it out so it doesn't do a big plop on your countertop and you lose that smoothie. All right, are you a person who likes to have a smoothie with a straw or a spoon? I'm a spoon. I'm going to take a little bite of this. I'm going to tell you. Oh my goodness, delicious. Hope you enjoy it. All right, see ya. Bye-bye.